Hello, Linwood Lions. I wanted to create a video and read it to you today. So this is for week 4 of distant learning, and some of you may have guessed it. I'm going to be reading the first Mercy Watson in the Mercy Watson collection. The author is Kate DiCamillo. She's one of my favorite children's authors. And the illustrator is Chris Van Dusen. Now, under the social skills activities, there is a link to a YouTube video that Chris Van Dusen, so for the next 3 weeks, I have included a different link. This illustrator walks you through how to draw Mercy Watson, Eugenia Lincoln, and there was another one that he just posted. So it's called Chris Van Doodles, which is a little spin on his last name. So check that out if you want a little bit of a challenge. So this is Mercy Watson to the rescue. Chapter 1. Mr. and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Each night they sing Mercy to sleep. Bright, bright is the morning sun. Mr. and Mrs. Watson sing, but brighter still is our darling one. Dark, dark is the coming night, but oh, our Mercy shines so bright. I love his pictures, his illustrations. This song makes Mercy feel warm inside, as if she's just eaten hot toast with a great deal of butter on it. Mercy likes toast with a great deal of butter on it. But when Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson kiss her goodnight and turn off the lights, Mercy's room becomes dark, very dark. And Mercy does not feel warm and buttery toasty inside anymore. She feels afraid. Look at the page numbers, they're little toasts. One night after Mr. and Mrs. Watson sang her a song about the sun, kissed Mercy goodnight, and turned off the light, Mercy decided something. She decided that she would be much happier if she wasn't sleeping alone. And so Mercy got out of bed and went and got into bed with Mr. and Mrs. Watson. She snuggled up between them. Mercy felt warm inside, as if she had just eaten hot toast with a great deal of butter on it. My dog is playing in the background. That is the noise you're hearing. I'm sorry about that. Chapter 2. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy were all in bed together. They were all dreaming. Mr. Watson was dreaming of driving a very fast car. Vroom, said Mr. Watson in his sleep. Vroom, vroom. Mrs. Watson was dreaming of buttering hot toast for Mercy. She buttered one piece, and then another piece, and then another. Have some more, dear, Mrs. Watson said in her sleep. Eat up, yum, yum. Mercy was dreaming about hot, buttery toast, too. In Mercy's dream, hot, buttered toast was piled high on her favorite blue plate. And Mrs. Watson was buttering still more. It was an excellent dream. Mr. Watson said, vroom, vroom. Mrs. Watson said, have some more, dear. Mercy sniffled and chewed in her sleep. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy were all so busy sleeping that they did not hear the bed creak. They were also busy dreaming that they did not hear the bed moan. Uh-oh. Those of you who have not read this story, take a break, pause this video, and share it with a family member or whoever you're sitting next to a prediction. What do you think is going to happen next in the story? Look at the floorboards. Chapter 3. Boom! A hole opened underneath the Watsons' bed. Crack! The Watsons' bed fell into the hole. Mr. Watson woke up. Mrs. Watson woke up. Mercy woke up too. What? Said Mr. Watson. Oink, said Mercy. It's an earthquake, shouted Mrs. Watson. It's the end of the world. Nonsense, said Mr. Watson, but he did not sound very sure. He sounded frightened. Mercy, however, was not frightened. Mercy was happy and hungry. Oink, said Mercy again. She moved to the end of the bed. Boom, crack. Look at Mrs. Watson's face. The bed fell a little bit farther into the hole in the bed. Don't move, shouted Mr. Watson. Whatever you do, don't move. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy held very still. Mrs. Watson started to cry. I know exactly what we must do, said Mr. Watson. We must call the fire department. They will rescue us. But you said we shouldn't move, said Mrs. Watson. How can we call the fire department if we can't move? Mercy recalled her lovely toast-filled dream. She wondered if there was any toast in the kitchen. While Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson were arguing, Mercy hopped off the bed. Boom, crack. There's no pictures on this page. Look, said Mrs. Watson. Mercy has escaped. She is going to find help, said Mrs. Watson. She's going to alert the fire department. Mercy left the bedroom at a gallop. She was in a hurry. She was on her way to the kitchen. She was looking for some toast. Chapter 4. In the kitchen, Mercy sniffed the table. She sniffed the kitchen counters. She sniffed the floor. But there was no toast. There was not even a crumb of toast. Mercy's stomach growled in disappointment. Boom, crack. Help us, Miss Watson cried. Mercy thought very hard. Where could she get a snack? And then the answer came to her. Baby Lincoln always had sugar cookies. Baby Lincoln lived next door, and Baby Lincoln liked to share. Mercy took the kitchen doorknob in her mouth. She turned it. Help! Miss Watson called again. Sugar cookies, thought Mercy. She stepped outside. Okay, I'm going to read one more chapter. We're going to introduce some new characters. The Lincoln sisters lived next door to the Watsons. Eugenia Lincoln is the oldest sister. She has many opinions. One of Eugenia's opinions is that pigs should not live in houses. Eugenia often says, listen closely to me, baby. Pigs are farm animals. They belong on farms. They do not belong in houses. Yes, sister, said Baby. Baby Lincoln was the younger sister. She is the baby of the family. Baby agrees with everything Eugenia says. It is easier that way, but secretly, Baby has an opinion of her own. Baby's opinion is that Mercy is good company. So here's Eugenia, and here's Baby. I just learned, I always said Eugenia. It's actually Eugenia. I've been saying it wrong. At the Lincoln sisters' house, Mercy looked into Baby's window. She could see Baby sleeping. Mercy pressed her snout up against the window pane. Oink, said Mercy. But Baby didn't hear her. Sniffle, said Mercy. But Baby didn't wake up. Mercy tapped her hoof against the window. Baby sat up in bed. Who's there? Lola wants to say hi. Baby saw Mercy's snout pressed up against the window. A monster! Shouted Mercy. A monster on the window. Mercy shook her head. Sister, shouted Baby. Help! Help! A monster! Eugenia woke up. She did not put in her teeth. She did not put on her glasses. Eugenia went straight to the phone and called the fire department. There is a crisis of an uncertain nature at 52 Decawoo Drive, said Eugenia Lincoln. Come immediately. And then Eugenia put on her robe and rushed into Baby's room. In her opinion, Eugenia Lincoln is very good in crisis. And that is where we're going to end today. What do you think is going to happen next? Those of you who have not read this story. I have shared the Mercy Watsons to a lot of students, so some of you already know that's going to happen, and maybe you can give some spoilers to your family members. I hope you have enjoyed this, and stay tuned for my next video when I will read another segment of our video. Our book. Bye, guys.